to an all-new Downright Sports. How is everybody out there? I am your host, the notorious sports critic, Brent Reid, in this very hot studio today. This is the last Downright Sports of the calendar year, and if you've never heard the show before, well, allow me to explain it to you. It is a sports show for sports fans, and it's a show where all fans can just get together and go, yeah, he doesn't make any sense. But if you never heard the show and this is the first time you're hearing it, then what you should do is download the podcast at Apple and Spotify. You can always listen to it Mondays to Fridays from 12 to 1 right here on DJ Chase Radio, which we are live. And yes, I know I said 12 to 1. The show started a little late. I'll tell you, just to give you guys a small tidbit before I tell you where to find us on social media, I got an older dog named Mariana. She's 14, and she was asleep. So I let her sleep. When she sleeps, sometimes I just let her sleep. And she got up like a rocket, ran into the studio, and was like, I have to pee. You know what? What better time than the present? And I had to run to grab her to get her not to just pee in the damn floor as I dropped my phone. All that sound. Well, as I bend down to pick up my phone, guys, and we'll take a small second to let you know that follow the show on all social media platforms. TikTok for as long as it keeps going around. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and on Blue Sky. Yes, Downright Sports is on Blue Sky. I'm too fat. All right, I got it. Downright Sports is on Blue Sky, not Twitter. I stayed away from Twitter. I really did. Just got off of it. It got weird. It really did. Not because like the political stuff. There was just like a lot of like weird things popping up. Like I wasn't following this. What is happening here? This is not becoming a social media platform. No, I'm joking. But let's do it, shall we? Today's show, we're going to talk about a lot of things. It's going to be a weird last episode. Nothing groundbreaking. We're just going to discuss what sports you should watch over the summer. If you have nothing else to, if you don't want to, dedicate all your time to baseball the way I would. If you would like to, explore a different world of sports, I would suggest, I'm going to suggest a couple. And then we're going to end the show kind of talking about the history of this show. All right. The NBA season is officially over. As of last week, there are new NBA champions. The Oklahoma City Thunder have won a title. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is like a streak. It's like Giannis, Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVPs who finished the season with titles in the last 5 years, something like that. Tatum didn't win it last year. He didn't win the MVP. The year Golden State won, I don't think Steph won the MVP. I don't think so. Probably should have. Anyway, the NBA is in a new place, if you will. Somebody put out a thing in David Stern's 30 years as a commissioner. He only had 8 different champions. In Adam Silver's short time, he's had 7 different champions. 9 years, 7 different champions. Adam Silver, definitely the parity champion. I don't know if parity's good or not for sports. Honestly, I don't really think so. I think sports need a boogeyman, or you need somebody everybody could cheer for. You need your Hulk Hogan's, you need your John Cena's, you need your Roman Reigns's, you need your Michael Jordans, you need your Tom. You need certainty. You need your Yankees. You need certainty. It's good for fans. It's good for the casual fan because everybody will learn the name of the person that the world is following. They'll go, oh, who's that person? And they'll go, that. Okay, that. Okay, guy. Okay. But the NBA now is more and more go away from the players that a lot of us grew up watching, the 90s players and etc. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the official Downright Sports top 10 players of right now. Boom. I don't have the sound effects. I can't play music because on the podcast, Spotify keeps taking us down. So we're going to be zany and silly. Wait till we come back in the fall. Holy Moses. So many no changes. Like the same show, nothing different. You're going to love it. Anyway, let's do it, shall we? And I changed my list, by the way. I changed the list. The original list, I'm not going to tell you, but I took somebody off and I wanted to shock the system a little bit. So let's do it. Top 10 NBA players right now. Starting with the most recent draft pick, number 1 by the Dallas Mavericks, and Cooper Flag. I feel like he's going to be number 10. I feel like he's going to come out swinging the way the game is played today. Yes, there are grown men out there, but it's not the grown men of the 90s and the 80s, or hell, even the early 2000s. He's going to be able to play in this league much easier than he would have if he got drafted, 15 years ago. So give me Cooper Flag at number 10. At number 9, give me Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons. He finally had his breakout season. Pistons made it to the playoffs, and they were not a play-in team. They were actually one of the best teams in the East. They finished in the top 6, and it had a lot to do with him. Yes, they have a complete team around them, but trust me, this kid is on his way to get an MVP votes. At number 8, Jalen Brunson. Should he have been higher? No, because Jalen Brunson has a lot of work. But Jalen Brunson, clearly, if you could put him on other teams, he will have an instant impact. He is the captain of the New York Knicks. He had helped the Knicks have one of their best seasons in recent years, and was just a click away from finding himself in the NBA Finals, but not enough help. At number 7, still a top 10 player, still a player you need to guard, still, if he comes back healthy this year, this is just players coming into the season. This is our preseason picks. It's kind of like you do in college football, the preseason top 10. At number 7, Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry. He clearly set himself head and shoulders above everybody, still in his class, still one of the best to do it, still the reason why Golden State can win, and without him, they will lose. At number 6, LeBron James. He clearly is still one of the best 10 players in all of basketball, without any question. Whether you agree with his way in how he plays or how he conducts himself on the court, because off the court he conducts himself no issues at all. Only issue I have is the stuff that comes out of his mouth about his opinions with his newly therapeutic show he has, his group therapy show as I call it. But he's clearly number 7. At number 5, from the Los Angeles Lakers, Luka Doncic. He's not higher because I felt like he took a step back this season. He had injuries, got traded, and with a LeBron, I thought Luka and LeBron can make something happen. We're going to see what they do with a full season. I know a lot of you they need more players. Go and look at Luka's team on Dallas the year he got to the finals. Yeah, he had Kyrie, but Kyrie was hurt a lot. Luka has that LeBron factor where he's able to do a lot with a little pieces around him. Now him and LeBron are going to have a full year together. We're going to see, but Luka is still top 5 best player in the game. At number 4, Anthony Davis. Why is he not higher? Because he took a step back. Anthony Davis, granted, lost to the NBA champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it's how when he lost. In the moments he needed to take over, he just didn't. He didn't take steps back, but I think they figured him out. Teams have scouting reports. They definitely monitored his scouting report. Let's see what he does this offseason. Let's see how he bounces back. Let's see how he can maybe take the league away from who I have as number 1. At number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo. A lot of talk about the Greek Freak, where he may go, where he won't go, who is he going to stay in Milwaukee. In my opinion, Giannis has got 2 more top years. Right now, he's still one of the best. But Giannis, I'm giving him a pass. I was going to rank him lower because I feel like he should be able to get his teams out of the first round, and he has not been able to. Whether it's been an injury, whether it's injuries of other players, but the excuses cannot continue to mount. He had one phenomenal season, but here's the thing. The year they won that championship, do they win if Kevin Durant's foot is not called on for a two-pointer and called for a three-pointer? Think about that. At number 2, Jokic. Yes, at number 2, Jokic. Why? Because he is one of the best all-around weapons on the court. He's not the most athletic. He may not be the best gifted, but from a weapon standpoint, he can pass, he can rebound, he can shoot, he can defend a little bit. He's basically the quarterback on that Denver Nuggets team. Jokic is still one of the best players, a 30, 10, 9 player, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. He's a year away from, he's going to average a triple-double soon, if not later. He is one of the best to ever do it. Jokic. And at number 1, the most recent MVP and league champion, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Why is he number 1? Well, he proved it. Shai Gilgeous this past season stood on it. He averaged 30 in the regular season. He averaged 30 in the playoffs. He averaged 30 in the finals. He was clearly solely one of the primary reasons why his team won. And without, this team would have been in the bottom 7-ish. They would have been a play-in team. He makes this team better. He is a breath of fresh air from players of the past. He wants to be in Oklahoma City. He's delivered Oklahoma City a championship. So, without any question, without any doubt, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the number 1 player going into the 2025-2026 season. Let's recap. Cooper Flagg, Chad Cunningham, Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, LeBron James. That rounds up the top 6. 5 through 1, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jokic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That rounds out 1 through 5. That is the Downright Sports player rankings for the NBA. How you like them apples? Moving on, shall we? Are you ready for this one? So, there's been a lot of talk about ring culture. There's also been a lot of talk about what guy didn't get a ring that could have got a ring. The last show I did, I went off on how Tracy McGrady had the audacity to say if he had Shaq, he would have had a ring. Sure, you had the next best thing to Shaq. You had Yao Ming, and you couldn't get it done with even Yao. Why? Primarily because you had to get through Shaq and Kobe. Why? Primarily because you had to get through Tim Duncan and his group of guys. Why? Because T-Man, you just didn't happen. But it made me start to think. There are a lot of great players that couldn't get a championship. Didn't stop them from being great. They're just that next tier of greatness. Who are they? Allow me to tell you. So here's the top 10 players, in my opinion, that did not get a ring. Let's go. At number 10, Steve Nash. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Nash. Why? Because he got 2 MVPs. He had 2 great years with the Suns. If it wasn't for officiating potentially 1 year, the Suns may have finally had gotten past the Spurs. But Nash, unfortunately, just couldn't get past San Antonio, and they ultimately couldn't get to the finals. At number 9, I did have Tracy McGrady, and then I realized, no, there was a player who should have gotten a ring that really went head-to-head with Shaq and Kobe, and that's Chris Webber. Those Kings teams, especially that year they lost to the Lakers with the shot by Robert Horry, those Kings teams were good. Now, would they have won a championship? I feel like if the Kings team, because I want to say that year the Lakers beat them, they went on to face, did they go on to face Philly? They might have went on to face Philly. If it's the 02 season I'm thinking about, if it's the 02 season, they went on to face the Nets. And the Kings could have beaten the Nets. It would have probably won 7 because that team was evenly matched. But I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to. And if it was the year before when they faced the 76ers, I don't know. I think AI could have beaten the Kings with Webber and Mike Bibby and Paige Stojakovic and Hedo Turkoglu and Bobby Jones. God, it's crazy. I remember that team. But Yeah, Chris Webber definitely busted his butt those years in Sacramento and made them, the Kings haven't been relevant really since he left. At number 8, Carmelo Anthony. Here's why Melo's 8 on this list. These are the people Carmelo had to try to beat to make it to the finals, okay? He had to face Kobe. He had to face Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. He had to face those Nash, Amari Stoudemire teams. He had to face, who else was good? The Jazz were good when they had Devin Williams and Carlos Boozer. Then when he goes to the East, he's got to face LeBron. He's got to face the Celtics with KG, Pierce, and Allen. He's got to face Wade. He had some strong. Now, granted, them Knicks teams only had like 2 good years, but Carmelo definitely was one of those guys. I think if he played in a different time or he had better coaching, we may have seen like Carmelo Anthony never really had a team that could have helped him. When he got on the Knicks, Stoudemire got hurt. They brought in a lot of aging players. J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert, they were more role players, great role players, but they were role players. He never had a true number 2. Stoudemire was supposed to have been it. It never happened. So, unfortunately, he never got a chance to play with another star of his caliber to help him. Even not until late into his career when he was, he was winding it up. At number 7, Dominique Wilkins. If you go back and watch Dominique Wilkins, or even look at his numbers from when he played, Dominique Wilkins in the 80s and early into the 90s was one of the top 10 best players in the game. Dominique had to face those Celtics of the 80s. He had to face the bad boy Pistons and the new emerging Michael Jordan Bulls. So Dominique always just could never get past a lot, but he definitely was giving guys the business. I would compare Dominique, in my opinion, to a poor man's Giannis Antetokounmpo based on his athleticism, his ability to score, his ability to defend, his ability to be, dare I say, Showtime worthy. At number 6, John Stockton. 2 NBA Finals, he lost both of them to Chicago, but Stockton and alone were the West Coast until, we saw the emergence of the Lakers, but they were basically one of the teams you had to go against. Every year, the team that went to the finals, if it wasn't them, went against them, and that's how good consistently. You guys made the playoffs every single year, finally got to the finals back-to-back years. But Stockton, if you go look at the stats, look how he plays, listen to the people who played against him, respect due, Stockton should be on the list. At number 5, and I had to switch it after doing research. I had a different number 1, and I moved him to 5. At number 5 is Allen Iverson. Why? AI never got a chance to play with, like Carmelo, never got a chance to play with a player of his caliber. Why is he ahead of Melo? Well, AI got his team to the finals with the MVP award by himself. Allen Iverson, the year the 76ers went to the finals, led the league in scoring with 31 points a game. On his own team, the next top scorer was Aaron McKee with 9.8 points a game. Look it up. And that, to me, puts Iverson in a rare character. Everybody. AI never got a Shaq. He got Chris Webber when Webber was towards the end of his career. He had Andre Iguodala, but by then the team was kind of in turmoil, changes. He never got another top-tier player, whether they never drafted him, whether they couldn't sign him, whether for whatever reason they just could never get another big-time player. And back in those days, realistically, top players were not leaving their team to join another top player. That's just how the game worked. You had to draft your number 2 or get lucky and get an aging number 2 who still had some left in the tank, or they traded. At number 4, Charles Barkley, man, former MVP, took the Suns to the finals, a lot like Allen Iverson, but he had to meet Jordan, and then never got a chance to get back there again. The West got tougher when he was with the 76ers. It was an aging 76ers. Dr. J had just retired. Moses Malone was retired. Getting closer to the end of his career. Gets to Phoenix. Was one of the best players in the world. Was the best player on the Dream Team, but never got a ring. Charles is one of those G's, man. And number 3, Patrick Ewing. Yes, right, Patrick Ewing. I could have switched Patrick for the number 2 guy, but think about Pat's career. Patrick was the Knicks. Name me another top 25 player that played with Patrick Ewing all the time the whole time he was on the Knicks. You can't. There wasn't a top 25 player during their playing days while Pat played on the Knicks. And yet, they got to the finals twice, and yet he made them, granted the Bulls beat them, Jordan beat them senseless each time, but they always gave the Bulls a fight. He had to face the Bulls, he had to face the Pacers. Everybody always got their best out of the Knicks. Patrick, that's the reason why, Pat's number 3. At number 2, Carmelo. Carmelo went to the finals 3 times, lost all 3. 2 were Stockton against Jordan and Pippen. And then the last time with Shaq, Kobe, Gary Payton, that's supposed to be a layup championship. And they lost to a Pistons team that had none of those players were the top 25 best players in the game at the time. Or close, a very small percent of the top 75 at best. And he could not get it done. Carmelo ended his career the top scorer in NBA. Was it second all-time leading scorer points in NBA history. 3 times in the finals, and just in the end could not get one. And at number 1, and this is why he's number 1. He went to the NBA finals 8 times. 8 times. As the top guy on his team, and did not win 1 championship. That's Elgin Baylor. 8 times Elgin Baylor went to the finals. And listen to this. 1959, 1962, 63, 65, 66, 68, 69, and 70. You know what they all have in common? He had to face the Celtics. Elgin Baylor went to the finals 8 times and never won a championship. How crazy is that? That's insane. And that's why he's number 1. Those are the top 10 players who never won a championship, in my opinion. I got 2 minutes. I'm going to spend this last 2 minutes in this segment giving you my opinion on one thing. A lot of discussion on Kobe recently, a lot of discussion on LeBron and his legacy. Look, hear me out here. Player A played 705 games, had over 19,000 points, averaged 27 points a season, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 48% from the field, 33% from 3, 3 MVP awards, 2 NBA finals. That's player A. Player B played in 108 games, averaged 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 45% from the field, 32% from 3, 5 trips to the finals, 3 championships. Who's that player? In their first 9 years, who are these players? Player A is LeBron, player B is Kobe. What are the differences? Well, in Kobe's first 9 years, in Kobe's first 9 years, he had Shaq. He had to share the ball with Shaq. In LeBron's first 9 years, he had Ilgauskas and Mo Williams. So let me tell you all something. You LeBron lovers, you Drake lovers. Remember one thing. You know what LeBron got to do? He got to keep the ball himself. Yeah, he got to keep the ball himself. You know what Kobe had to do? Kobe had to share the basketball with Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant player in the world. Kobe had to make sure Shaq had the ball. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Whose numbers would look like what? So when you all go, LeBron's the man, well, LeBron basically had a team where he had to be the man. Kobe had to share the ball with another guy and still went down, in some people's opinion, as the number 2. The argument with Kobe and LeBron is skewed because Kobe has an asterisk on the first part of his career because Kobe played with clearly a top 10 all-time player early on. So some of what Kobe could have done is diminished because he wasn't able to be a full tour de force until that player left. LeBron's whole career, except for 4 years in Miami and 1 year with Cleveland, always did not play with another great player. He had no choice but to get all the points. So the question is, what happens if we flip them? And I think that's what we need to start having the conversation because it's not as cut and dry as you would want it to be. Hey everybody, this is Downright Sports. We're going to come back in segment number 2, or B block, as now I'm starting to call them. And we're going to talk about some of the things you should go do over the summer and watch. We're also going to do the news. If you're listening on DJ Chase Radio, we're going to be listening to the podcast. No news. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, I appreciate it. If you're listening on DJ Chase Radio, hey, I'm going to throw in some nice, smooth jams for you. Allow you to rock out until I come back. A little Neo, if you will. A little Beautiful Monster. I'm literally buying time so I can cue this off. But we'll be right back, everybody, with Downright Sports.